I want to really thank Kenny and Rand for your leadership in putting something like this together. I think this is something that's really important during this time. A lot of people continue to message me about things in regards to a loss of connection, and I think what you guys are doing is bringing people together. I think I can speak to, and Mason's going to speak to a few important topics today, but the art of bringing people together is a branch of leadership that is rare, and I commend you for it. So thank you to the two of you for creating this opportunity. Um, from a lot of research and talking to a lot of people, I want to talk to you guys about something that I think is going to be impactful to everyone. And the goal for today's session is that you walk out of it with um, a sense of connectedness, that we're all in this together, and real tips that you can go and actually start implementing today to start creating the possibility of peace, happiness, and productivity in your life. So if people on this call leave with that, I think it's been successful. So who is this guy? Who am I? So Rand already mentioned I'm a management consultant and personal development coach. Management consulting, what does that mean? It means I work with organizations with lots of complexity, lots of different people, lots of politics, and I help them kind of focus on the things that are the most valuable, break them down into small, manageable pieces that they can actually execute on. And I work with teams. You know, the most complex things aren't projects. The most complex things are people. Getting people to work together and achieve a certain goal is essentially what I do every single day. Personal development coaching is really was born from my want to seek mentorship growing up. And anytime I was working with someone younger than me, I'd always have so much to say to them. So I'm like, you know what? I want to be able to serve and support the younger generation and help them live a happier, more fulfilled life. Hobbies, I'm an avid reader. I love to read. I love to learn. I think learning is power and value and happiness. I do it a lot. I love to play sports and be active. And I really, one of my favorite things is being connected to friends and family. The ultimate dream, and one of the reasons why I'm doing things like this, is I want to be a world-class international coach and speaker. So hopefully this is going to be a stepping stone to get there. No pressure for today, right? All right, let me go to the next one. Typically when I do my trainings, it's very interactive. I do very little talking and a lot of asking questions. So today's going to be a little different, but I don't want today to be me just lecturing. I want to actually tell you guys a story of how I've been able to address these things, because I think in sharing my real authentic experiences, you're going to be able to get much more from it. So again, I want to talk about things that mattered. I pulled everyone on my social media. These are the themes. I think I had about 50 people reach out to me across what they're struggling with and what they're missing right now. And the three themes that emerged was, how do I stay motivated? How do I be productive? How do I build a routine? How do I deal with this loss of connection with people? And how do I stop walking to my fridge and stay active and healthy? So what I'm going to do is we're going to go through these in order, and hopefully you can leave with some practical tips that you can execute today. So the first one, building a routine. And I love this one because it resonates with me big time. I think building structure and your routine into your day is very important. The first one is I'm going to talk to you guys about your morning routine. And the reason why I want to start here is because I love this quote: how you start your day is how you live your day. How you live your day is how you live your life. So basically, therefore, through the transitive property of equality, how you start your day is how you live your life. And if you can master your morning, everything else becomes that much easier. You don't solve it, but it becomes that much easier. So I've broken it down into 4 steps here. And really, these are stolen from the 5 a.m. Club, which was a book that really transformed my life. It came at a really important transitional and transformational time in my life. So I highly recommend you read it, by Robin Sharma. It's an amazing story. And the first thing is wake up early. And when I first started thinking about this, it's like, why is it so important that I wake up early? What is it about the early hours in the morning that I get there that I don't get anywhere else? And what I found is, as I started to do it, so I try to wake up at 5 a.m. every morning. Lately, during this remote period, it's been closer to 6, but I'm working back to get it back to 5. Excuse me. it's that sense of peace and tranquility, waking up when everyone is asleep in your home, and not only in your home, really across the world. No, not across the world, but in your neighborhood, if you will. Taking a step outside, the sky is still gray, the sun is just starting to come up. There's only kind of the sounds of birds. Everyone is asleep, and knowing that you're up in that peace is something that you don't get throughout the day. There's a lot of nurturing, if you will. There's a lot of medicine that comes with that. The next thing is learn. So invest in yourself before you invest in other people, or invest in or work for other people. Knowing that, so what I do is I pour myself a cup of coffee. I grab my favorite book, and I'll probably read about 20 or 30 pages before I start my day. And just knowing that I'm filling my own cup, I'm investing in myself, before everyone even has woken up, is just very motivating. From a competitive perspective, it's just a very motivating thing for me to start the day. And it makes me feel like I'm really taking longer strides forward, to be successful than the rest of the world, if you will. The next thing is being active. This is really important because if you move, you exercise, you sweat, you engage your muscles, what you're going to do is, when you go and spend 6 hours sitting down, on a laptop, if that's what your work is, your calories burned at rest is that much higher. So you're actually investing for the rest of the day. Not only that, you engage your metabolism. Your metabolism starts increasing, and it spits. The brain releases a bunch of happiness chemicals, if you will, that allows you to deal with the rest of the day a lot better. So what I like to do is I typically go to the gym. Now what I'll do is I'll just do a homegrown workout for about 30 minutes. I was at the gym before all of this, and I was talking to a 70-year-old or so, and I looked at him like, what? He gets into the gym every morning at 5, and I'm like, what keeps you going? And he said, you know what, man, when I get into the gym early, it just makes the pressure and the problems throughout the day that much easier to deal with. And I agree with him. It allows you to kind of deal with things from a much more productive state, if you will. The last one is practicing gratitude, meditation, prayer, and journaling. These are all different ways that you can do that. This is definitely one that I am working towards. Journaling is something that I've struggled with. I know that every single time I do it, I enjoy it. However, it's not something that's really stuck. And I wanted to be authentic about the fact that I'm not fully there with that last piece, because I want everyone to know that it's not all or nothing. A lot of times we get paralyzed, or we get stuck on doing something because we're like, we have to do it all or not at all. And I was like that big time. I was very much 0 or 100, black or white, yes or no. And life is very much in the gray. It's very much in the increment of progress. So what I recommend to you is start off with doing 1 and 2. Try it for the first day, try it for the second day, then maybe throw in a workout, then maybe start, just over the few weeks, try to incorporate each one by one. I just want to take a look at the time. So I'm going to move a little bit faster here. I apologize, guys. I want to make sure I want to give time for everyone. The next one is setting goals. So this is a real goal that I've set for myself, and it's really a 3-step process. Start off with what you want to do. So one of the goals that I want to achieve right now during this time is I want to write an ebook on productivity and awesomeness. The title might be a little bit different, but that's the goal that I have. The next thing, what's going to keep you motivated is your why. So think about why you want to go do this. And because it will be awesome isn't a why. That's not going to get you out of bed. It's not going to get you to work on it late into the night. You really need something that's really impactful. So for me, it's to prove to myself that I can write and publish a piece of work, to contribute to the people's lives that are struggling at the moment. And it's a stepping stone towards my goal of being a world-class coach and speaker. So those are things that I'm really passionate about. Like, okay, that's something I can get behind. So I'm going to go and start working towards this. The next thing, and the reason why a lot of people don't start working towards their goals, is because they get overwhelmed. There's like, well, I want to write a book. Where the heck do I start? I don't know the first thing about it. And this is kind of where you start getting into the how. Once you know what it is you want to do and why it's important to you, start thinking about how. And every single time you ask yourself how, you'll start breaking it down further and write these things down. So the first thing is, okay, I want to write a book. Well, how do I write a book? Well, I need to create a table of contents. Well, how do I create a table of contents? Well, I probably should research what people are struggling with most. Okay, that's something I can go and do. I'm going to go set up an hour tonight, then I'm going to read 3 articles. So what you've gone and done is you've taken a very scary thing, and through that exercise of just asking yourself how, you've gotten it down to a place where you can actually go and execute on it. And it's something that's very specific, it's manageable, and it's something that you can do within a small period of time. Okay, I'm going to be respectful. So about 15 minutes, I'm going to keep going here. Staying connected. So let's practice true connection. The first thing is when the first week, I was really excited about this remote experience. I'm like, oh, I get to work from home. I don't have to do this 2-hour commute. I'm so happy about that. But then the second week came around. It's like, wow, this might be a few months. And it's like, well, a big part of my life is connecting with people that really put me in a little bit of a dark place. So, but when I started approaching it from a place of abundance of what is it that I do have versus what is it that I don't have. And I realized that I'm fortunate enough to have my parents here with me, my family here with me. Let me go and really dedicate time to spending it with them. So that comes in the form of, playing chess, playing board games, sitting and talking to them, going outside for walks. So really being with the people around you. The next one is we have this sense that is false sense of connection through social media, through texting. That doesn't give you a sense of connection. And it says it up here. Connection is the energy that exists between two people when they feel seen, heard, and valued. My recommendation to you there is pick up the phone, get on a video call, FaceTime someone, see them. Get the 75% of communication that is lost when you simply text someone. And that hopefully will get you closer to feeling a more sense of connection with people. Be present, listen, avoid judgments of any kind, and be there for them. Ask them questions. Don't do it for you, because if you're there for other people, what you'll find is you'll learn so much about them. And I was talking to a friend of mine recently, and she said to me that when she started practicing these things, she realized that the people that she never knew she would have a deep connection with were the people that she actually had the biggest connection with. So by being in order to be interesting, you need to be interested. I think that was Bill Carnegie that said that. So get interested in other people, and what you'll find is you'll be able to build much better connections with those people than if you just look at it from your perspective. And I'm gonna again be honest about this one. This is something that I've struggled with because I've just got so much to say, as you can tell. So stopping and listening and truly listening is something that I'm actively working on. The last one, and I'm gonna go through this really quickly, is staying active. So a new take on the gym. I got a message the other day. It's like, I need my weights. I got to get to the gym. I can't do this. I'm like, guys, again, look at this from a perspective of abundance. What is it that you do have? What's the opportunity here that you otherwise would have not been able to do? For me, I go to the gym, I lift weights, I put them down, and I leave. Now I don't have that opportunity. I'm going to go do things like stretching and yoga, and I'm going to do some cardio and on the field. I'm going to do some body weight exercises. And then there's this deck of cards that exercise that I use. You can message me about this after. I'm not going to get into it now, but it was amazing. So the key takeaway here is look at this as what is it that I typically wouldn't have the time to do? Use this time to do that, because I promise you this isn't going to last forever. And the last thing that you want to do is look back and say, man, I wish I had done those things during that time. So hopefully, these are actually things that people actually sent me that I'm going to send out to everyone, that hopefully give you a sense of what people wish for you, if you will, what tips they have for you. The final thing I'm going to finish off with. So first of all, again, thank you so much for giving me the space to do this. This is a real opportunity for us to transform as people. This is the world telling us that it will move on without us. And it's truly humbling experience. And I really hope for me and for all of you that we look back at this time and never forget this time. And in everything that we do, in every travel, in every meeting with friends, we look back and remember that when all that was taken away from us, and always be extremely grateful for every experience that we have moving forward. And really, I hope that these tips that I've provided you today allow you to take one step forward today and for the rest of this time that we're in this situation, so that you come out of this a transformed person and different than the person that you walked in as. Thank you all so much. Rens, I'm going to send this to you, and you can send it out to everyone. And thank you so much for the space.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Wissam. I do have a question for you that kind of combines all the different questions that we got from our attendees. So, given the current situation and how everything is going, we are kind of struggling in staying productive, but at the same time, mentally, we're exhausted because of everything that we're going through. And it's just the idea of us staying home kind of puts us down in the sense that, oh, I don't know if I want to work out. I don't know if I want to finish my job. I don't know if I want to work on the checklist that I had for the longest time, maybe like learning a new skill. Like for example, I've wanted to learn Illustrator and master Photoshop for the longest time. So now I'm like, oh, finally I get the time to do it. But even though sometimes I'm like, you know what? No, just everything is going wrong. Maybe I don't have the productivity or the energy to do so. So how do we kind of really push ourselves into
Mhm.
go and open that checklist of yours and start working on it? Don't give
Mhm.
excuses.
Yeah, I appreciate. Thank you for that question. I think I dealt with something similar to that recently, where I was in so much, I had so much pressure on myself, and I got bad feedback from work, and I just felt alone. I felt like nothing really mattered. But what I did is you really everything that you said there requires someone to take a step into the unknown, right? If you continue to go with that mentality, you really won't achieve anything. You really need to do something that's unfamiliar. And the unfamiliar thing for me was I got up, I left even though I had so much work to do, I put my shoes on and I asked my dad to go out for a walk. We went out for a walk and something that I never thought I would do, which was actually share these insecurities that I was experiencing with him. So I'm like, what would he know? What's he going to contribute to it? He's probably just going to make me feel worse because he's going to ask me a question that's going to open up a box I'm not ready to deal with. But when I shared it with him, in my sharing, we went on a 6 minute walk. In my sharing, I could feel that pressure come off. And I was, again, surprised at how he reacted. He just listened. He didn't do any of the things that I created in my head. So to answer your question, Rand, there's two things. One, you need to step into the unfamiliar in order to achieve anything of value. And two, um, share what it is that you want to create with someone. And what you'll find is that the pressure and the stories that you've created that are on your shoulders might fall off, and it'll create a new possibility for you.
So, question for Wissam. It says, I used to wake up at 5 a.m. every day, but now with the quarantine, I can't find the motivation to do so. Um, and she's like, I actually do wake
Okay.
up at 5 a.m. and then I go to sleep. Is why wake up at this time? I've got my entire day ahead of me. A lot of us are thinking
So
this way. Yeah.
that's an amazing question. It's Hajar. There's a few things that come to mind. One, you need to look back on what was it that motivated you to wake up at 5 a.m. before, and you want to see if that motivation still exists now. Another thing that really jumped out at me when you said when I have the entire day ahead of me, something to consider that is that if you've committed to spend 2 hours before everyone else wakes up, naturally you're going to use that time very differently than what you would do at 2 in the afternoon. Because at 2 in the afternoon, you have people running around in the house. You might have a meeting for work. You have your phone out next to you. You're going to go on Instagram. If you're waking up between 5 and 7 a.m., at least for me, I highly doubt that you're going to be wasting that time on things like email or things like spending time on social media. You're going to realize that you've just done something that's very difficult, something that's not the norm, and you're going to be using that time on things that you wouldn't do, to your point, during the entire day. So two things that I'm going to leave you with is one, do the exercise on what your goal is, what your why is, and that why needs to be strong enough to launch you out of bed at 5 a.m. And acknowledge the fact that the things that you do between 5 and 7 are going to be far more impactful and different than what you would do at any time throughout the day.
I love that. That's actually a really good tip, which I'm gonna follow myself starting tomorrow. We missed on one question that was asked at the very beginning. It is how to minimize computer or cell phone usage and get stuff done. I'm gonna leave it up to any of you to answer. We can start with Wissam. What do you think? What's your tip for that?
Yeah, so Henny mentioned, you can go and look at your usage, and there's other things that you can do. You can have blocked apps, and you can have passwords to get into your apps. But for me personally, none of that has ever worked. The best thing that's ever worked for me is two things. One, avoiding the temptation. So leaving your phone downstairs, realizing that if you leave your phone downstairs and go up to sleep, that one, to Mason's point, it's going to help in your sleep, which is going to trickle into your next day. And two, that it's not going to be the end of the world, right? You are going to be able to come to your phone tomorrow morning and catch up on everything anyway. You don't need to have your phone with you. The second thing is get busy, right? If you go and you figure out what that one goal is and you start tracking towards it, you won't have time to go onto your phone. I promise you. And if you do pick up your phone, you'll be like, what the heck am I doing? I have 6 things I need to do in order to achieve this goal today. And naturally you'll put it down. It's easy to pick up your phone and spend time on it when you're unstructured and you're not sure what you have to do next, or there's this goal that's really big that's far away that you don't have the necessary steps to get there. So to summarize, keep your phone away from you, avoid the temptation. The second thing is get busy, structure your goal, structure the things that you need to do, and just start working on them, and you'll find that you'll spend way less time on social media than you ever did.